then don't get away from it.
Dispatch riders by nature are all social misfits of some... No, I don't think anyone's a career dispatch rider. We're all forced into it.
I don't know really, just sort of drifted into it. I had silly like dead-end jobs. And I'd always been on motorbikes, so I thought I'd make a living out of what I'd, you know, just riding a bike.
I was an undertaker, you know, before I'd done this. And like every now and again you get a courier come in, like brown bread, and I thought, blimey, that looks like it's exciting. I'll have a go at it.
My diplomas and qualifications are not recognised in this country. So at the moment it's the only job I can do.
I love motorbikes, and it was a novel thing 15 years ago, so I'm still at it.
I was a tool maker, but I was made redundant. I was made redundant several times in engineering, so I thought I'd try something different, so I took up dispatch riding.
I'm an electrician by trade. I was hanging off the back of a bus one day trying to dodge my fare, and I asked one of these bikers, you know, what he was doing, and he said, well, I'm a dispatch rider. And I said, do you earn good money? And he said, well, I earn more than you do. So that afternoon, I left my job and became a dispatch rider, and I've been doing it 8 years.
I don't think the general public like this a lot. There's a few of the geezers out there, they get a bit, you know, up on the pavement, and so like we've built up a bit of a bad reputation, you know.
Usually the antics that people see couriers getting up to aren't that dangerous. When people see a dispatch rider batting through the traffic at about 40 miles an hour, they think, oh, look at that lunatic. What they don't realise is that the rest of the traffic's moving at 30, 35 miles an hour, so you're only going through it at walking pace.
See, a lot of what people think about what it's like to be a courier is from the outside looking in, and they can see bikes constantly whizzing in and out and everything, and they think, God, those blokes, you know, there's something wrong with those people, or that's really dangerous. But in actual fact, you get so used to it, it's not as dangerous as it seems.
But most of the people I've met in this job, they're really considerate road users as well, because when you're out on it all day, you understand what it's like. You understand that everybody can't be driving all the time, like driving aggressively. It's just the people who don't understand. You just think, oh, look at that maniac on his bike. I don't know, or just people who just get the rear lump because, like, you've died in front of them.
I must get shouted at least 20 times a day. The thing is, motorcycles, I feel, can anticipate what's going on in front of them far quicker than most car drivers. They can see what's going on. Most car drivers don't look around, they just use their mirrors. Whereas a motorcycle has got to use his eyes all the time.
People only notice you if you're in the way. People wander around this city like, you know, the world doesn't exist outside their own heads. But yeah, if you get in the way, then they think you're sort of scum of the earth.
You're very much under pressure all the time, particularly when it's busy, to deliver items at a reasonable time. But the vast majority of us don't. We just do it sensibly. There's no need to really hack it anywhere.
Recently, the most unusual delivery is going all the way up to Derbyshire to pick up 20 bags of flour and bring them back to Knightsbridge. I must admit that I picked one of the bags open and had a little taste, and it was flour.
Just a bit of fish, a bit of haddock.
Yeah, meeting people outside stations is like, I had to meet a mysterious-looking woman outside King's Cross. That was a laugh, trying to find the right dodgy-looking girl.
I mean, that is ludicrous. That's costing her like 5-6 quid just to get a pint of milk.
Sometimes you're doing a master video for a company, which is like worth sort of 50 grand, and then the next moment you're delivering someone's jumper, which they left at the bar somewhere.
I got done for speeding there, and I actually delivered my own documents to the prosecution to prosecute me. I was like, a bit gutted, really.
I took a bomb to the Northern Ireland office. I didn't know it was there, but It was obviously found out when I got there, went through all the security systems, but it was quite frightening, really. I had that on most of the day.
But you get these people who are just like got enough money to be like outrageously lazy and just like order a courier from their house to like go and pick up 20 fags.
Got to be a turd in a box.
Bees.
Bags of washing.
Was a glass of wine last Christmas from a wine bar, obviously from a wine bar. Take this glass of wine 2 or 3 blocks to somebody in a big bank and present it to them with our, blessings for cash, 3.5 quid. Well, needless to say, I drank the wine, kept the glass, and never heard any more about it.
Told to go to a place, turned up, and he said, yeah, go to this place, bang on his door and shout, answer your telephone.
Well, I had one time a big bit of artwork. I was going through the city with it, and it flew out of my bag and got run over by a bloody great lorry. Had big tyre tracks right across the back of it. Picked it up, stuck it in my bag, delivered it to the client the right way round. She went, "Oh, thanks, put it down." There's a massive lorry tyre track across the back.
The cakes, they're the ones, like, we used to have a place to deliver cakes, and like, you have somebody have an accident and still carry on and deliver the parcel. It's just like, it's not a cake, man. It's like metamorphosised back into cake mix.
A guy delivered a parcel and on it got photographs do not bend. And he delivered it folded in 4 and on it got yes they do.
I do remember once losing a package on a rainy day and driving around Victoria until I found what resembled a soggy crisp packet, which was in fact the artwork. And then what I did was I took it home with me and dressed it up and then repackaged it and delivered it the next day. But all I can say is that the artist, whoever he was, must have been crap because they never rang back to complain about it. So they either used it and won an award or they threw it straight in the bin. I think it's fair to say that receptionists, when they're employed by firms, what they do is they go through what they can and what they can't do, and then they say to them, the only thing that you need to remember, first off, is that when a courier walks into the building, you have to pick up the phone and ignore him. All right? Let the geezer stand there for as long as possible, and then look up nonchalantly and say, can I help you?
Receptionists, they tend to look down the nose at us, especially when it's raining and you look absolutely terrible. They look right down your nose at you. As if there's something special.
I mean, I went to Saatchi's once, and sort of one of the women, I left my biro on the counter, and she just picked it up and threw it at me as I walked out.
Blimey, yeah, Vogue House, man. The girlies in Vogue are just outrageous. I mean, they'll probably confirm that too. They need a good spanking, some of them, you know.
The standard question is it raining outside when you walk in dripping wet?
Yeah, they can be sarcastic sometimes. Do you know what I mean? About the state of you and the state of your parcel when you bring it in there, because you just get it in there however. Do you know what I mean? I mean, they give us a package, we stick it in our bag. If it gets wet, it gets wet. We just, as long as it gets there, that's our job.
You do get some stupid deadlines. I mean, like, I had a 3 o'clock deadline to get to the Observer, and they gave me the parcel at 4:45. I go, yeah, I've got my TARDIS outside, love.
Basically, I mean, we're considered the low of the low. Anybody who's on security can treat a dispatch rider how they like, and often do. And anybody who's on a reception does as well. And they're the lowest in their office. So it gives them somebody to wipe their feet on, doesn't it? I mean, you see these guys who are on security, I mean, most of them are pretty mindless individuals. And they have, like, their medals and their badges. And I'm sure they get the medals, they get awarded for being awkward to dispatch riders.
To get into British Airways now, it's just high security, and they spent something like £10 million on defending the place. But to get in, you have to have a plastic wallet with some numbers written on it. And to get this, what you have to do is to go into a security box and ask the geezer on 90 quid a week if you can have one. He gives you one, and then you get past all this £1 million worth of high tech, and you can walk around British Airways and, oh, well, you can probably live there. You know, go on their wages or something. But you've got to have this bit of plastic. And yesterday I took great exception to queuing up for my piece of plastic, so I refused to go in. And I thought that this would bring down British Airways, but it didn't, because what happened was another £90 a week geezer come out and took the parcel off of me.
I hate them all. Every single one of them.
They're idiots. Just got to treat them as idiots.
They look at you and they stop.
Lemmings. They give them a curb and that's their cliff. They don't look that hard.
Mainly foreigners with what we call right-hand hook neck. That's where they walk out into the oncoming traffic looking the opposite way.
It's not a widely known fact, but pedestrians account for the deaths of more motorcyclists in London than all other types of accidents put together.
The theory is, I started off like you'd go behind them or go in front of them, but now I've learned if they see you, they'll sort of run. So if you aim for them, chances are they'll either run forwards or backwards and you'll probably miss them, but it's not guaranteed.
I saw him running between the cars and I slowed down. I came to a halt as he came out of the gap, and he did a handspring off the side of me, over the top of me, knocking the bike on top of me, and it was resting on my foot, and I couldn't reach the bars to get it off my foot. And I'm looking up going, move the bike, and he's just going, oh, Solly, like this. And I'm going, move the fucking bike, because it was like burning its way through my boot.
And I'm hoping to God she doesn't step out in front of me. So just as I come up to her, she does the step back, and I hit my anchors, and they're really good. You know what I mean? So I've flown over the bike like head first, like a bullet, head-butted her straight in the boat race. She's gone mash straight on the floor. So like I'm like, oh no, you know. So I picked her up, put her on the side, and she's all dazed and everything. And then she wakes up going, Manuel. So I thought, fuck Manuel, I'm off.
Echo 6 Sagan.
He's going to Northwest State.
Yeah, 2-1.
Hang on 1 second. 3535.
6-1. I mean, the controller's the brunt of everything, and we got two great controllers. Trevor, Prime Porky Walkie, and Steve Davis, who's like the mouth of South London. He's from Millwall in Bermondsey, and like they get it all the time. Where are you? Stevie. Go on, Steve, say it all.
What?
Go on, give it the large one for us.
How you doing, Al?
I still ain't got me bike, mate, but say something nice for us.
Say something nice for her, Al. Who you talking to out there?
Come on, the mouth of the South, let's have it.
Oh, I can't talk to her. I'm having a bad weekend, mate. I was up and down like a yo-yo.
Yeah, we know that, mate.
You know where it is, Al. Your brain goes in and out of gears. What's going on? Saturday night, all of a sudden it's Monday morning. You've got to come to work.
Controllers, you know, these on here, right? These people on here, Mr. and Mr. Sarcastic. These people are, you know, they're trapped in this little room, where and they wear a suit and a tie because you know, in case visitors call on them, they've got to look nice and everything. The fact that they live in a basement flat and do drugs on weekends got nothing to do with it, right? And they get in that little room and they treat us the same way as everybody else in society treats us, as a nuisance.
It's only other people's misconceptions about it. I mean, out of this stuff, I'm like just like anyone else, really. It's just I prefer to do this sort of job.
I think that's the problem a lot of people have with Couriers. I think there's something wrong with them. They're just doing it because they're hard up and they can't get any other sort of job.
Basically, it springs from the fact that people are anti-motorcyclists. They tend to associate most people with riding motorcycles being troublemakers. And I think that goes back a long way before dispatch riders were around.
though I think it's because of the way you look. They assume that you're going to be quite a rough individual, and you know, they're going to get a short answer if they speak to you.
We are self-sufficient capitalists. You know, we don't expect people to give us anything. You know, we do our own jobs, and we hold our heads up because of it.
The worst time is rush hour. After people have been in the morning, people are racing to get to work. Usually it's just people trying to go as fast as they can, but around 4 to 5:30, you get office warrior. He's been sat behind a desk all day, and he gets in his chariot, and that's it, he's Ben-Hur. And these are quite powerful cars, which is annoying, because usually you can accelerate anything and get in front of it, but these people try and race bikes, which London hasn't got the room to do.
It's quite rare that someone tries to knock you off on purpose, but it does happen.
I've had a mad Chinaman try to kill me in a transit van. I had an argument with in the traffic, and like, instead of getting out and having a go, he just tried to ran me off the road with the van, like up on the pavement in Oxford Street.
It's like they don't think, you know, they're not thinking bike. If they was to ride on the road for a day, they'd realise how bad it is. I mean, all you want to do is just ride through, and all they're doing is leaving you a gap of like 6 inches, and you can't do it. Sometimes you clip their mirrors, break their mirrors.
Certainly, you know, I mean, I've seen cars who deliberately obstruct bike users, and they seem to get some sort of thrill out of it.
There are certain times where even if you do give a monkey about your own life, you've got to give the impression, for all intents and purposes, that you don't. Because if someone's trying to knock you off, and you can give the impression that you don't care, you'll take them out with you, often they'll duck out and they'll do a runner just to get away because I think you're psycho.
So eventually I got to the point where I had to shout loud to move her car backwards. And once she acknowledged that I couldn't go anywhere because my foot was trapped, she rolled the car back an inch or something and then waved her well-groomed hand and said, "Go on forward." So at that point, this little horned devil that I keep in a little box inside here, he came out. And I went round and I said to the woman, "Do you know what it's like to have a car sitting on your foot?" And she said, "Oh, you're making such a big fuss about this, you know, just drive on, drive on." And at that point, I did actually get hold of her right foot, take it out and put it on the ground and stamp on it, threw her keys down Regent Street and drove off.
A courier had to go to Terminal 3 or 4 or something for a mega urgent job to catch someone who was going on a flight, and he was doing 100 miles an hour around the connection roads between the terminals. And the police pulled him over, and the copper said to him, "Are you having trouble taking off, sir?"
I think one of the funniest things I saw was down there, the Mall, you know, where they do the Horse Guards parade. The horses go down there at midday every day. I think the funniest thing was there was a courier on a race machine, not like this one, it was a real race replica. He must have been doing 90 down the Mall, and the police couldn't do a thing. They were doing the crowd control, and there's all the Japanese looking at the motorcycle more than the parade, and he goes hacking it round the roundabout at the end, cranking it right over, getting his knee down. I think that's got to be the funniest thing I ever saw. All the police are going, what the hell was he doing? And they couldn't do anything, he was gone. Psh.
If someone else makes a mistake, we get injured. If we make a mistake, we get injured again. You know, we're always on the losing side.
If it got to a stage where it really bothered me, I wouldn't be going to work. a chance you take.
Well, yes, in the back of your mind, you know that there's something something will happen one day.
So I'm sitting in the middle of the lane, minding my own business, decent gap between me and the car in front. I've been sitting like this behind this car for miles. And all of a sudden, this builder's merchant's wagon just drifts straight across in front of me. It was so sudden. I tooted me horns, he slammed his brakes on, and one of the scaffold poles he had off the back of the lorry actually went through me headlamp. It was that close.
If you started thinking about all the things that could happen to you on the road, you wouldn't bother riding. Yeah. I mean, we've had guys going under cars and whatever, but it's not going to put you off. You've got to earn a living, ain't you?
It's a very professional job. That's how we look at it. But you can, no matter how clever you are or how professional, you can still come unstuck.
When you've had enough, at the end of the day, I'll quite happily deliberately carve up people on the way home if they, I won't give anyone an inch on the road. And I think I just try and go home at that stage, calm down, ready for the following day.
It's quite tense, because you're dealing with traffic, you're constantly in contravention of the law of averages, if you're going to stay on the road without getting knocked off or having an accident. So there are constant near misses and so on, and then police pulling you over to check the bike and so on. So there's a lot of hassle in that respect, and it does make it quite aggressive if you don't remember to keep calm and just, treat it as a job.
If you've been doing the job a long time, it does make you hard, arrogant and confident. And a lot of people that come across a dispatch rider will stand in awe, like him, just standing there. He's totally enthralled at this vision that stands before him, and he wouldn't want his daughter to marry one, but he'd like secretly perhaps to be one for 5 minutes. So I don't know.
There's no future. It's just do it or you don't.
Money's taken a dive recently. It might. I don't know when it will pick up. I don't think it'll ever be the same as it was sort of 5, 6, 7 years ago, when there was plenty of money, easy money. Now you're really working hard. I think it'll be back to college for me sooner or later.
Well, yeah. Well, personally, for me, it's the lifestyle that I love, and I'm prepared to sort of earn less money than perhaps I could. And that's my personal choice, but I do feel sorry for the other lads. Things should be better. Things should be better. We've got no real union at all, and the governors have got the upper hand.
I mean, I would do this to 40 if necessary. As long as I know that financially wise, that my 2 sons are my common law wife has got something.
Once you get into Courier, it's really hard to get out of it because people don't want to know you. If you say on your CV that you've done Courier, forget it. They don't want to know.
Rather than signing on and looking through the papers, for nothing. There's never anything there, and you can get very, very despondent when you're unemployed. At least I feel useful.
3535. 35. 35. I'm ever so sorry, but my bike is now functional. Have I got to go somewhere?